And as I took on more clients, it was just too much work to keep up with everyone's different way of doing things. And I realized like I have to get some sort of standard so that I'm not having to learn a new method of taking care of a client every single time I get a new client. And I think I started looking online for that kind of a thing. And that's when I came across the pure bookkeeping system.
You're listening to The Successful Bookkeeper with your host, Michael Palmer. Listen each week as inspiring guests share their secrets of success to help you increase your confidence, work smarter, and build a business you love. This episode of The Successful Bookkeeper is brought to you by PureBookkeeping.com, the proven system to grow your bookkeeping business.
Welcome back to the Successful Bookkeeper Podcast. I am your host, Michael Palmer, and today's show is going to be a fantastic one. Our guest is the owner of Anchored Bookkeeping Service in Prince Edward Island, Canada. She's also a Pure Bookkeeping licensee. Sarah DeHaan, welcome to the show.
Thanks, Michael. Thanks for having me on the podcast today.
It's our pleasure. It's our pleasure. And I'm looking forward to your story. And so before we get into all of it, Sarah, tell us a little bit about you and your career journey leading up to this point.
Okay. So I have been in the bookkeeping industry for over a decade now. I started as an executive assistant, actually, and bookkeeping was part of the training and part of my role throughout my whole career. I landed a management position right out of school, actually, in finance and administration for a nonprofit organization in southwestern Ontario. And I worked with them for a couple of years, and I learned a whole lot about being in management in an organization and working with a board of directors and like volunteer management and donor management, that kind of thing, and working within tight budget margins with a nonprofit. And it was just really great to be a part of something that had such a heart and walk along the journey that the clients that they were serving were going through. It was quite a process of healing for them. And I was just happy to be able to help out in a small way in their journey. And after a couple of years, I relocated to PEI and started working in a SaaS company directly under the CFO. That was also a little bit admin, but mostly finance. And the CFO really encouraged me to push into that finance more and more until the position grew into fully and just an accounting technician type job. And I worked with him for almost 5 years. He really invested a lot of time in teaching me the ins and outs of bookkeeping until I was able to take over the full bookkeeping cycle. And I was assisting him with, quarterly working papers and financial reporting and that kind of thing. And so it was really quite a privilege to work with him because he encouraged me to push into this financial stuff. And I don't think I ever would have realized my passion for numbers unless he had encouraged that. And so I really have to be grateful for what he said to me during those years, because otherwise I wouldn't be where I am today.
That's interesting. I mean, it's remarkable. I always hear, whenever I hear a story of a great mentor, I'm always pleased by it and curious at the same time, because it sounds like an interesting one. So he was the owner of the SaaS company.
He was the CFO.
CFO.
Yes.
And so he really mentored you through the process of what that business needed from a financial information perspective.
That's right.
And how to produce that.
And I don't know if he went in wanting, but maybe my questions were just relentless and he realized I'm such a keener that he decided to spend time with me. And I think it was well worth it for both of us. Absolutely.
Very, very good. Well, continue.
Okay. So I worked with him, like I said, for almost 5 years. And yeah, it was a really great experience. And even to this day, we still check in with each other a couple times throughout the year. And he's on my Christmas card list, that kind of thing.
Beautiful.
I did leave that position to start a family. And just the way that our family life works, my husband and I realized I needed to work less so I could be home more, because he is quite busy at different times of the year just with the job that he has. He's a potato farmer, which is pretty standard here on PEI. So he's quite busy. And so I need to pick up the slack there. And I stayed home more and worked with some smaller nonprofits in the meantime there. And then while I was pregnant with our second child, I realized I needed something that would provide more flexibility for us and that I would still be able to help other people. I knew I needed something for my brain, but to find a balance there between putting my family first and still working myself. And I didn't really know what to do. So I was talking with a few friends and just kind of putting feelers out there for ideas. And a couple people recommended to me that maybe I should start a bookkeeping business because I was good at it and I liked it, and like I'm organized and efficient, so maybe I should just go for it. And I thought about it for a while. I didn't want to jump in until I knew that I could really do it and make a difference and help people with something that they're struggling with. And so I kind of just let that stew for a bit. But eventually I decided, this is what I'm going to do, even though it's kind of scary to start my own business and be self-employed. And I just started telling family and friends, like, I want to bookkeep and I want to help people not be overwhelmed and stressed out by their business, by the financial side of their business. And just, if I can do anything to relieve that stress, then let me know, pass my name out, that kind of thing. And so by word of mouth, that's how I got my first several clients, which I think is the case for a lot of bookkeepers. When we start our businesses, you just start putting feelers out there in your network of people, and the clients start rolling in.
Remarkable. And so this is, when would you say, so your business started officially, was that 2017?
So sometime at the end of 2017. So I was still pregnant with our second child.
There you go. So you kind of figured out, hey, this is what I need, and which any business where you can work from home and have flexibility and really be completely virtual need be. Bookkeeping is what makes it such a beautiful profession, is that it can be that way. Exactly. And you figured it out, and you needed this bit. But before you had even had your child, you were planting seeds. And this is we're going to do a lot of farming analogies here. Potatoes, not potato seeds. You were bookkeeping client seeds with friends, family, word of mouth, letting people know what you did and what you were looking to do for people.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. And it just kind of grew sort of slowly and steadily from there. Mostly still just word of mouth. I am still in the stage where I consider that I own my job, but that is changing for sure.
So I'd be curious, like between and owning your job is definitely something that'd be interesting to talk about that because the fact that you think you own your job means you want to not own your job eventually at some point, or you're considering it. But in terms of that 2017 to now, what was that journey like? Like you got results from the friends and family, you got some clients, but what were some of the milestones, if you will, where it started to work for you?
Yeah. So I would say probably one of the things that kickstarted me realizing I didn't have to just own my job is when I attended the 7 Secrets seminar that you run, I think, or webinar, I think it was. And I sort of realized, I could scale this and I don't have to do all of the work, and I could have a team, and wouldn't that be great? And we could make a difference together. And so I had these clients, these small number of clients that I was working with, and I got all excited and I started making all these plans, and I kind of ran into issues with my internet Because here on PEI, I mean, if any of the listeners of your podcast are from PEI, they'll understand when I say that I have rural internet, it's horrendous. And it was a real struggle for a long time. So it kind of stalled out the growth that I wanted to see in my business, because I was relying on desktop softwares and trying to stay offline as much as I could, because I couldn't rely on the internet to be stable and to be there when I needed it. And it got even worse during the COVID lockdowns last March. But thankfully, the federal government stepped in and brought us better internet into the rural communities all through Canada, I think. And we were the first ones to sign up on our road, one of the first ones. And we got hooked up. And it's just been such a game changer, because now I have internet at any time of day, no matter the weather, and I can provide reliable services to my clients. And so I've been transitioning them all online and into the cloud. And it's allowed me to set up systems so that I can grow quickly and grow well without creating sort of an unstable foundation.
You mentioned the 7 secrets and how it sort of opened your eyes to being able to scale it. Now, you had a logistical barrier, which is, the highway, the superhighway, the internet superhighway. If you got no roads to get places, you can't get places. So they improved
you're just stuck.
Yeah, they improved that road, and yet you were taking the 7 secrets. I'm really curious, what had you even start looking for something like the 7 secrets of growing your bookkeeping business?
So I'm pretty sure my Google search was how to run a bookkeeping business, or like Canadian bookkeepers or something like that. Because I knew enough to be a bookkeeper, but I didn't know how to run a business. And I wanted to learn from other people. And I love listening to podcasts and just learning as much as I can. So I'm fairly certain that was around, I want to say like beginning of 2018, when I realized that, this is really what I'm going to do. I started looking online for other bookkeepers and other businesses that I could connect with.
Very interesting. And it's one of the key messages, I think, that we try to get across in the Successful Bookkeeper book and the E-Myth, is that it's one thing to be a bookkeeper, it's another to run a bookkeeping business, and they're two different things. And bookkeeping is just one industry that has this challenge. It's multiple industries that have this challenge, where technicians that can do the work try to get into business for themselves, and it's different because there's all sorts of other things that have to be handled. So it's great that you realized this and did something about it. And so the internet shifted. That was a barrier that opened things up. How has you mentioned systems. How have you not everybody understands systems and why they're valuable and how important they are. How have you seen your own building of systems in your business change how you do business?
Okay, so I noticed pretty quickly that I had my way of doing things, and it was pretty good. It's pretty efficient. I didn't really miss deadlines. I was keeping up with compliance work, that kind of thing. But everyone else also had their way of doing things. And as I took on more clients, it was just too much work to keep up with everyone's different way of doing things. And I realized I have to get some sort of standard so that I'm not having to learn a new method of taking care of a client every single time I get a new client. And I think I started looking online for that kind of a thing. And that's when I came across the Pure Bookkeeping system.
We'll get back to the interview in just a few moments. But right now, here's a quick message from our sponsor. Manage bookkeeping quickly and easily. With Cinder, you can import unlimited historical payment data, automate manual payment entries in books, and get detailed information about transactions. Connect all sales channels such as Stripe, Square, PayPal, Amazon, eBay, Etsy, and more to Cinder to get the books ready for tax filing. Book a free demo on the website cinderapp.com and sign up for free. That's SYNDER app.com. cinderapp.com. Thank you for taking the time to hear from our sponsor. Now let's get back to the interview. Very good. And now that you have Pure Bookkeeping and you went through the 7 secrets, you've become a Pure Bookkeeping licensee. You've been a licensee for a little bit. How is it changing your business?
It's making it scalable, and I have confidence in, I think confidence is probably the biggest thing. I have confidence in speaking with clients and potential clients that I can promise them accurate work and that it's always going to be done the same way every single time, because I have these systems set up in place, and it's easier to build it so that I can pass it on to somebody else now, because then they can just follow the same system and I will know that the work is done the same way. It's very exciting to me I love creating organized systems of doing things just in every aspect of my life. So this whole Pure Bookkeeping system just really excited me that I didn't have to build the framework myself. And the more I get into it, the more amazing I realize it is. And it's just so easy to pick up and run with. You just make a few tweaks here and there and go. And yeah, like I said, I think it's the confidence thing. I know I can trust it to have already got the building blocks put there together, so I can adapt it for my client and continue on my way and get same with the next client and the next and the next. And it's very exciting and an important part of the business.
Oh, it's beautiful. Well, it's lovely having you in our community, and this is what one of the things that prompted this conversation was we meet every week as a community. We have our community success call on Fridays at noon, and you're often on those calls. And that's one of the things, I just love it when I see other fellow business owners out there doing the work and making it happen. And that's what it takes. The business doesn't grow itself. Right?
No, you have to put in the time. You have to be connected to others and work hard at growing your business. You can't just sit there doing compliance work. You have to get going. And your community calls are so great at motivating us to continue and to celebrate each other's wins. And it's just such an encouraging group of people to be a part of. And just thank you for consistently hosting those calls for us.
Oh, it's my pleasure. And thank you. It gives a bit of wind in the sails. When I lead things, I often question because for me, it's me doing the same thing every week in, week out. It's like, I always ask myself, is this valuable to others? And so when I hear that it always gives me just a boost, right?
Absolutely.
So I appreciate it.
And, it should. Absolutely. It's so great to be connected to other bookkeeping and accounting professionals who are there to encourage and lift each other up. And it's not a competition for business. It's a really supportive community that you've created there, Michael. So you should be proud of what you've done. Thank you.
Thank you. I am very proud of it. And and I will say it's certainly not all me. It's under the leadership, of course, of Peter Cook and Debbie Roberts, who, and particularly Debbie, who was adamant that the Pure Bookkeeping community globally would be a very empowering and positive community. Like there would be no bullying.
You're rocking it.
There'd be, there'd be no bullying. There would be very welcoming. It would be, there are no, bad questions. That sort of community, which is rare in the world, which is crazy that it's rare. But she will not tolerate any of that. And it was one of the things she learned in her business was she would have clients that would bully her, and she wasn't always that way. And so there was a point in her life where she said, I will not accept that. And literally, that's what shows up in our community, is that we just don't tolerate anything but constructive positivity, and growth, right? A growth mindset, if you will. So it's pretty cool. Her leadership is, and I mean, that's probably one of the things that attracted me to working with Pure Bookkeeping a decade ago was that spirit, right? It's very empowering and transformational, I think, environment. So that's cool.
Sure.
Well, you're there, you show up, and I just love that it's one of the, I think, any community where you bring together people who are ambitious, working together, willing to be generous and share their knowledge, and also really successful people. Pure Bookkeeping is filled with fantastically successful bookkeeping business owners of every stage. You know, you can be successful in just getting started. It's like, it's what is success? Success is that journey of wanting to build something for yourself. So you're on those calls and you were sharing how I always ask for wins and things that you're proud of, things that are moving forward in your business to share with others. And you had shared about your attracting of a few new prospects. I'd love for you to tell that story for our listener.
All right. Well, like, as I already mentioned, I finally had decent internet that I could rely on. And I thought, well, now is the time. I was thinking in January, where do I want to be a year from now? I don't want to be the same size. And who knows what's going to happen with some of my existing clients. I can't guarantee that they'll still be around, and I can't just put all my eggs in one basket. And I was starting to feel like I need to make some goals. Otherwise, this isn't going to go well. And I want to be in a different place in 2022. So where do I want to be? And I thought, I need to go paperless completely. I'd already started that transition kind of back in the fall. So I knew that was a goal that I had for 2021. I wanted to get online 100% now that I can do it. And I just knew that I wanted to keep going with getting systemized. And so I said, well, it's not going to happen if I don't tell people. And I have this very small platform on my Facebook page. I think I probably have like under 100 likes on my page. I haven't done much with it. I created it last spring, threw my logo up there and didn't really do much. But I decided, well, why not let people on PEI know that I'm looking for new clients? And I created a real quick Canva ad for posting on Facebook. And I just created a sponsored post letting people know I was open for clients effective the beginning of the next month. And I created that very targeted audience because I knew I didn't want to be getting inquiries from across the country. I just want to start growing here on PEI and really making a difference here in the community. So I targeted that ad to, I think it was like entrepreneurs and people that were interested, that had listed their interests in like goal setting and online softwares and business ownership here on PEI in a certain age range and within a certain number of kilometers from my house. And I just like posted it. I think it took me about 5 minutes to think about doing it and maybe 10 minutes to do it. I posted that on a Friday morning. And Friday evening, I got a phone call from an accountant at a local firm here on PEI who was interested in setting up some sort of agreement where we could help each other out with client work. And we got together and we chatted, and it was really great. We have very similar goals for our clients. And after lunch, he basically said, clear your calendar. I can fill it up for you. So that's still, in the beginning stages. Things don't always move as quickly as you think that they might. And we both get busy, right? But I'm looking at becoming completely a cloud bookkeeper, and he is running a cloud accounting firm, and they don't have in-house bookkeeping really. And they're not looking at setting up their own bookkeeping department. So we're starting to work together and kind of pass clients back and forth to each other.
I love this story. Absolutely love the story. And at one point, did he not say, take down your ad?
Yes, he did. You could take it down. I can fill your schedule.
It's like Ronald Reagan's famous quote, "Mr. Gorbachev, take down that wall." And you take down that ad. We're going to use up all of your time. I love that story. And I don't want to say, hey, everybody run out there and do exactly as Sarah has done, because you're going to get these results that Sarah has. But I think the ambition is and energy and action is rewarded in your business in some way that you can never understand. They say that the universe is conspiring with your success, but if you're not actually conspiring in your own success, the universe won't conspire in your success. Now, we say the universe, you could say God, you could say anything you want, whatever your beliefs are, but energy that you put into your business is often rewarded in an unrelated way. It's like if someone were to call 10 people, I'm going to call people to see if I can generate business. If you made those 10 calls, that energy is going to go somewhere. It might not come from those calls, but it might come from just giving you confidence that shifts how you talk to your next client, that says, oh, it's such a wonderful to work with you, and refer someone to you. Like, you just never know where it's going to come from. And that's why I love this particular story, is that you have a vision for what you want to create, and you're taking action in line with that vision to make it happen. And I love that. I absolutely love that.
Thanks. Yeah, I just kind of thought, if I don't start, it's never going to happen. So let's just do it. And it's not ever going to be perfect when you start. You just have to start. And then, like we say often in our community calls, you just have to fail often and quickly. And then you just keep going from there, and you just try and you try again until you find what's working for you. And for me, this little Facebook ad has been helpful. I have also had some other prospect meetings and another new client from it. And we'll see where it goes, I guess. And I'll try to use my platform for good, for other people's good.
Beautiful. Well, and with something like this, advertising spend is one of those tricky ones, because you've got, whenever I hear people saying, oh, I'm going to pay for advertising, I'm always concerned, because I've heard so many horror stories of people spending money for yellow pages, ads, Google ads, all sorts of different things, where you can go really wrong and spend a lot of money and get very little results. You figured something out, and I think the secret sauce there has been very micro targeting. Mm-hmm. So how much have you spent approximately on your ads?
$46.
Unbelievable.
Yeah, it was
$46.
$46. It was not an expensive thing to do. I thought, I will try small and affordably and go from there, right? And I guess it worked.
That's right.
It is working. So, and I'm very, very thankful that my effort there is becoming a blessing.
Yes. Well, and I think there's something that others can learn from this as well, which is, you've got an ad, and the ad likely is, done well. You've obviously have a knack with something like that. But again, it's doesn't have to be perfect, but clarity, right? What would you say about your ad in terms of that? Basically, it was an image that you shared. And what did that image say again? It was...
Yeah, it said, hey, did you know Anchored Bookkeeping Services is opening new client space?
Oh, I love that.
Yeah, I just wanted to catch people's attention really quickly. And probably I've just been marketed to by different companies on Facebook for so many years that it's just somewhere brewing in the back of my mind, because I have not done any advertising training or social media marketing practice or anything like that. I just must have seen an ad that said something similar, and it just came out when I
It's a surprise we're not all experts in advertising, the amount that we get advertised to, right?
We're so frequently advertised to. Why don't we just turn around and spit it out ourselves?
There you go. Yes, wonderful. And so you spent very, very little money. You had a very clear image ad, and you popped it up there as a promoted post.
That's right.
Very micro-targeting, your area, entrepreneurs. So And then I would imagine they would click there and that would land on your Facebook page then.
Yes. And then there's a call to action button. I don't exactly remember what it says that will take you to the website.
Got it. So they get over to the website, and your website then has a call to action there to book a call with you or something along those lines.
Yes, that's right.
So, it's kind of like the overnight success. It's just popped up an ad and it just boom. But again, I want to remind
there's
everyone,
a whole lot of hard work in that too. So
went into building the foundation.
Yes.
Yes. Let's not forget about that.
You have to be able to back up what you're offering to do.
Yes, exactly. So there's that. You've got incredible experience, and I love the SaaS experience. I mean, if there's something, what you learned there is so valuable in this global economy today, is that, amazing. And so there's a couple of amazing things in this story. Just love how you did all that work. You spent a decade crafting your skills and your expertise, and really relevant, valid expertise. I can't say enough about that, working with SaaS, that's software as a service, for those that don't know. So it's like really many companies there's so many companies out there running this way, and they're going to need, they need investment. They need great financials. And in order to have great financials, you need to have great bookkeeping to get those great financials, to make sure that you're, sharing with your investors what's going on, to attract new investors, to make great decisions on how they're spending that money and how they're growing and all of that. Like, there's so many pieces there. So that's going to be very valuable in this global marketplace. And then the government decided to put in super high-speed internet for you.
Oh, thank you, government.
Thank you, government. And for those that don't have a wonderful government building great internet for you, Elon Musk is doing it, and
that's what I hear.
Skynet or Starlink.
Yeah, I think so.
Starlink. Skynet was the.
Skynet was the Matrix, wasn't it?
Terminator.
No, the Terminator.
Yeah, Terminator.
Yes.
So it's kind of
oh my goodness.
Hopefully, he's not as bad as the.
Not quite.
Terminator, but
I'm going to be worried.
It would be worried, but it's got Starlink. Starlink is the name of it, which is going to provide amazing internet, incredible internet, everywhere on the planet.
Because you just can't do business, especially after COVID has pivoted our world so much that we hate that word. You just can't do business without the internet anymore.
You cannot.
And you need it to be reliable so that you can be reliable, because if you're going to make a commitment, you need to follow through with it. And your customers are only going to be so patient with you when you say, oh, my internet crapped out, I can't do my job, sorry. How often are they going to hear that before they walk away? So it's an incredible thing to have reliable internet.
Absolutely. It really is. And fortunately, there's big strides happening in the world that's going to provide that for many. Yeah. And then Pure Bookkeeping is providing the systems to enable you to get the work done quickly, efficiently, predictably, and scalability, and have that scalability in there. So it's like there's all these things coming together. But let's not forget, you took the action, you did the work, and on many of these things, you've got your Facebook page set up with clear and concise messaging. You've got your website set up. That's a nice looking website that brings you in a great light. And then you drive people to those pieces that it's like this journey. So anytime we're having it's a buyer's journey, is they see you, they found you, they have a problem, they know they have a problem, they find you, they're going to look at your Facebook page and they're like, oh, this looks good. They're going to go to your website page. This looks good. It all makes sense. And then they're going to click and book a call with you. And then now you're having conversations and leading that. So it's not like you just pop up an ad. So if you don't have a Facebook page and you don't have a website, to put up an ad, and I've seen people do this. I'm just going to have this ad and think that business is going to show up. It doesn't have to be complicated, but there are key components to this that you must have in place. Otherwise, you won't have any conversion. Now, if you lose $47, I don't think you'll be worried too much about it. You're
not out too much.
That's right. But don't want to think that you can just go and drop $47 and get all sorts of clients and all that good stuff. Sarah, you've done a wonderful job of it.
Thank you.
And I will say anyone can do what you've done with the effort and taking the actions, correct?
Yes, absolutely. I have not reinvented any wheels here. I'm just trying to build my business a little bit at a time.
That's right. That's right. And doing a great job of it because you just keep taking steps. Now, what's the vision? What's the future look like for you? What's your dream and desire for your business?
Thank you for asking. I mentioned in 2021, I want to be completely paperless, cloud-based, and systemized. I would love to grow a team so that there's more like me helping business owners kind of understand their financials and get rid of that overwhelm and stress. I just want to grow a team of people that you can trust, not people that are just going to walk away with your paperwork and never check in with you or anything. I want to build a team that's going to help other business owners, and I want to teach business owners not just do it for them, but teach them how to understand their profit and loss and how to build decent cash flow and monitor that. And even just defining the terms like compliance terms and keeping up with CRA deadlines and things like that, because so many people find that extremely overwhelming, and something's only overwhelming if you don't know it. So if you've been taught, and if I can provide that teaching to business owners, and I can help them succeed in their goals, and we can make the world a better place together that way.
Absolutely getting goosebumps. You know, I haven't said or talked about it in a very long time, but great bookkeeper is a millionaire maker.
Right.
And and it's not just something I can say and go, oh yeah, sure, bookkeeper. Yeah, I know it because I've seen it many, many times. And you remind me of a bookkeeper that worked for a friend of mine, Janet Zuccarini, who owns a couple of really top restaurants in Toronto. She owns a restaurant in California. She's a waitress that built her restaurant enterprise, which is just a fabulous story. I'd love to have her on the podcast at some point.
I'd love to hear that story.
She's she was a judge on Canada's Top Chef or Master Chef or one of those shows. There's so many
neat.
of them. Yeah, very cool.
Yeah.
Very cool. But her story is that she had a bookkeeper that came to her. She had somehow had to switch bookkeepers. And this new bookkeeper came in and she was doing the bookkeeping, and Janet didn't really pay much attention to that. And this bookkeeper really trained her to run the business based on the numbers and benchmarking. It's like that bookkeeper was able to say, look, this is where your business is at. These are some things I'm noticing, because that bookkeeper only worked with restaurants, big, chains and different. Yeah. So she knew, she was an expert.
She knew the industry.
She knew the industry. She was an expert in the financial management of restaurants. And so she trained and taught Janet how to run the business based on those numbers. And, if this number says this, then you're doing that wrong. You need to look at your spoilage, your staff. There's things that are going on in the business, because Janet ended up being a absentee restaurant owner. Like, for a lot of years, Janet just went on these fabulous trips all over the world, and a lot of times she would bring recipes back and stuff. But she would be on a sailboat for 3 months at a time. And she had a top restaurant in downtown Toronto running, because she had all the numbers. It was just like all she needed to do was look at her reports, because this bookkeeper trained her. Now, Jen is incredibly successful, incredibly wealthy now because of her restaurants. And we're talking multi successful. And that bookkeeper, that's why I say that bookkeeper was a millionaire maker, because I would imagine, and I know Janet was on the call here with us, she'd say, yeah, if it wasn't for her. So it's all these things. It's not one thing, right? But you got to pay attention. And so, Sarah, I really think you're going to be doing that for many business owners. I'm excited for them that they would be able to find you and be able to work with you, because their business is going to do very well based on what you've done and also your passion and commitment to helping them.
Well, thanks. Yes. My goal is always that I'm making their life better, that I'm helping them understand better. So we'll just keep fighting the good fight.
Keep fighting the good fight. So many great messages in this episode, Sarah. I love, don't discount the experience that you get. So there's many listeners that are not even bookkeepers perhaps listening, right? And it's like, well, how do I get started? I get that question all the time. Go work for great people, right? Work for a great bookkeeper, work for a great accountant, work for a CFO that can...
And don't be afraid to ask questions. People don't mind that.
And if they do, find a new person.
Yeah, they're not the right person for you.
They're not the right person. There's people that are passionate about what they do and they want to teach. And often, I imagine your CFO was just thrilled because, he goes home or she goes home and is their spouse going to want to listen to what they're passionate about? No. So you can, this person's interested. I'll share everything I've got, right?
That's right.
And so ask questions. Don't be afraid. And if the person isn't interested in coaching or mentoring you, then find somebody else. There's a lot of opportunities out there. And
that's right.
I would imagine, many people would love to just have the business out of the gate and not have to go through working for somebody else. But it's kind of one of those steps that it's a longer road, but it's a road that puts you on the higher road. And so that's a key message. That experience is super valuable. Getting the proper training and getting the proper mentoring is going to pay off for you. You've done the hard work. Now you're going to reap the rewards. You're going to be able to harvest the seeds planted. And seeds are experience. Seeds are, marketing. Seeds are your business plan, your marketing, your website, all these different pieces here that you're able to now start harvesting. So some great messages. Take action. Be passionate don't be afraid to be passionate about what you do and be dreaming big.
That's right. And just push into the gifts that you have and you'll go good places.
Absolutely love it. Now, Sarah, this has been fantastic. Are there any other parting advice or thoughts that you would love to pass on to our listener?
That's good. I think what we've just talked about especially is that just get started. It is scary. I'm a perfectionist. I'm an Enneagram 1. I understand wanting to have it completely right before you do anything, but you just can't. You will not do anything or go anywhere unless you get started. So get it, 80% of the way and then just start and you will figure the rest out as you go. So just trust your gut and do it and you'll be great.
I love it. Great advice. And, get out there, take action, make it happen. Now, I will point out in the show notes, we'll have a link to your Facebook page and your website so people can take a look. So go, for the listener, I recommend you go to that, get the links, take a look, and see what Sarah has done and learn from that. And then, of course, in the Successful Bookkeeper Community portal, you can go in and there is a course, a free course called the 7x5 Marketing. And the very first, so 7x5 Marketing there's 7 strategies that will get you 5 clients each. Okay, if you did these 7 strategies over the next year, they would bring you 5 clients from each strategy. That would be the goal. So that's why we call it the 7x5 Marketing Plan. And the very first strategy is the one that Sarah shared with us right out of the gate, which is word of mouth, friends and family. And many people think that that's just too basic. It's just too old school. It's just too...
Goodness, no.
Right? But it works.
Those people know you and love you and trust you, and they're going to recommend you to other people. So go with it.
Go with it. So the 7x5, you can review that in the Successful Bookkeeper Community portal.
That's fantastic.
And Sarah, this has been absolutely fantastic. Such a joy to have you on the show. Such a joy to have you in our community.
Thanks for having me. It was really great to get to chat together.
Absolutely.
I loved it.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Great.
On behalf of our listener, I want to thank you for your generosity as well in sharing all of this. I mean, that's what makes the communities, this community so great. So many people like you willing to share what's working and not working. So on behalf of our listener, thank you.
Oh, you're welcome. Thank you.
After we recorded this episode, Sarah provided an update on our weekly Pure Bookkeeping Licensee Success Call, which I thought would be great to share with you. As Sarah mentioned in our interview, we love sharing wins in these success calls, And I hope it inspires you to get out there and get known in your marketplace.
So I was going to say that after we got off the phone the other day, Michael, I got a call from the accountant that had responded to my Facebook ad, and we made a game plan to pass over the first client from their accounting team on to me. And he asked me if I had room to take on a 20-hour-a-week client, and I had to very sadly say no, because I do not have 20 extra hours in my week. Wow. And I'm not quite ready to hire, but it just encouraged me so much that, this is the track, this is where I want to go. And he's willing to pass on those clients to me. It was just very exciting. And then I got off the phone with him and I got another discovery call. So I have a meeting next week with another potential client, and it's just going so quickly, and it's so exciting.
And with that, we wrap another episode of the Successful Bookkeeper Podcast. To learn more about today's wonderful guest and to get access to all sorts of valuable free business building resources, you can go to thesuccessfulbookkeeper.com. Until next time, goodbye.
You've been listening to The Successful Bookkeeper with Michael Palmer. For more information and to download the resources mentioned in this episode, please visit us at thesuccessfulbookkeeper.com. Thank you for listening.